The young mother was worried. Her baby had just had surgery for a urinary tract problem, and the doctors had told her to check the diaper to make sure that it was wet, to be certain that the baby was voiding properly. And she was checking and checking, but the diaper was dry for 24 hours. She panicked. She rushed down to the hospital. They did an ultrasound, thinking that there would be a distended bladder, but there wasn't. No moisture at all. What had happened? Where had the urine gone? Well, the mystery was soon solved. The mother remembered that she had switched to a new type of diaper, a super absorbent type, and she didn't realize how effective this was at absorbing the urine. So she thought that the diaper was dry, whereas in actual fact it was only the lining that was dry. The moisture had seeped in. She should have known something about chemistry, the chemistry of sodium polyacrylate, the remarkable material that makes superabsorbent diapers be the miracles that they are. Way back in the 1930s, during the heyday of polymer chemistry, when chemists had just discovered that small molecules could be joined together to make big ones, they made something called sodium polyacrylate. And one of its properties was remarkable. Water, look what happens when we add just a touch of this sodium polyacrylate to the water. It absorbs all of the liquid. So you can immediately see why this would be of benefit in the use of a diaper. It is also used in feminine hygiene products and many other aspects of life as well. For example, it can be compounded into a special kind of mortar that is used in between cement blocks where there's a risk of water seepage. Because if water seeps in, this thing just expands and prevents more water from going through the material. It was used in the building of the tunnel that runs between England and France. It can also be used as a coating around seeds for planting, especially in dry soil, because what happens is that the stuff absorbs moisture and the plants, of course, grow much better. It's also available for home potting in case you need to go away on vacation and you don't want to ask the neighbors to water your plants. You just make a few holes with a pencil and put in some of this stuff, which affectionately is called super slurper. But of course, in chemistry, we like to refer to it as sodium polyacrylate. It is the sodium part of it that really is responsible for this effect. Inside of this polymeric membrane, you have a lot of sodium. And when we add water, water rushes in to try to dilute the sodium concentration. This is known as osmosis. Well, if that is the case, we should be able to reverse this by adding sodium from the outside so that the water will then rush out to try to dilute the external source of sodium. We can try that. Sodium chloride, ordinary table salt. Look what happens. We'll sprinkle some of this in there, and we'll just give it a stir, and you can see that virtually immediately this solid gel-like material breaks down into a liquid because all of the water now has come out to dilute the sodium. Well, just when you think you've seen all the amazing properties of sodium polyacrylate, something new comes along. In the early 1990s, a fireman in Florida by the name of John Bartlett was rummaging through the remains of a fire. Everything was burned. There was garbage everywhere. But his eye was drawn to a little piece of white material in the middle of all of this devastation. He looked down and picked it up, and what he found was that it was a soil diaper. But the diaper had not burned. He wondered why. He began some experiments and discovered that the sodium polyacrylate held on to so much water that it made the diaper resistant to the flames. It took him 5 years, but he came up with a formula which is something like shaving cream, which can be sprayed as a foam onto materials during a fire to protect them from burning. This is already being used by the Los Angeles Fire Department, it's being used in Florida, and it is being used by the US military. It really is quite interesting. I've got a diaper here, which is wet. I've just run some water over it. And here I have my burning inferno. Look at this. We take this wet diaper, run it over the flames. Nothing happens. Pretty amazing. So sodium polyacrylate may turn out to be very beneficial in the fighting of fires. If you want to play with this material, all you need is some diapers. Cut one open, put it in a large bag, and shake it. The powder will come out, and you can collect it from the bottom. And then you can do little magic tricks like I did here with the polyacrylate. But be careful, don't throw it down the drain, because there it can pick up water and solidify and even clog the drain. However, no need to call plumber. If you remember what we've discussed here today, you know that all you have to do is to take the solid material, add some salt. So if you've put it down the drain, just pour some salt down behind it, and very, very quickly, as the salt mixes in, you will see that the slurry changes back into a liquid. And the liquid then, of course, will be flushed away just by flushing it with water. And the only thing that will remain is the knowledge about sodium polyacrylate super slurper that you've gained here today.